G'day! In today's video I'll be replacing the rear-facing camera and camera glass on a Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus. So to begin with, I've had the phone sitting on this heat pad here at 75 degrees Celsius, which has made the phone extremely hot. Most phones normally don't get that hot to the touch, but this one I'm struggling to keep my fingers on there. So after I've had it heating on that heat pad, I've used a thin metal pry tool, dipped in isopropyl alcohol, and from there I should be able to remove this back cover. A little bit of a side note, I have found removing the back covers on the newer Samsung phones to be considerably easier compared to older models, or at least the frequency of breaking them while trying to get into there. On a Samsung Galaxy S6, I found that they would break quite frequently. I believe it's more of an improved tools for the job and just methods over the years. But these ones definitely feel a lot easier, and they also feel like they're going to break a lot less compared to the earlier models. Now, what else are you going to require in this repair? You're going to require a heat source, a thin pry tool, potentially isopropyl alcohol or something similar to reduce the stickiness of the adhesive. You require a thin Phillips head screwdriver, or small Phillips head screwdriver, a SIM eject tool, and then you require a replacement back camera. So I'm nearly into this phone. Now that I'm in, from here I'm going to use a small Phillips head screwdriver, and I'll be taking out all these screws I can see on the back here, plus 3 that are underneath these plastic shields. So I'll just proceed to do this now. There we go. Now with all those screws removed, I'm just going to use a pair of tweezers to grab at the bottom plastic, just to lift it up slightly so I can pull it out. And then from there, now it would be best to start with disconnecting the battery, but I've jumped ahead and disconnected the headphone jack at the bottom and disconnected the display. Down in the charging port there is 2 Phillips head screws there, and one up the top right hand corner as well, holding that main board in. Now I'll need to remove the SIM tray out of the phone itself to be able to remove the main board. Now I've probably use the fingernails here, but I'm getting quite accustomed to using just a pair of tweezers. which on metal connections isn't really a good idea, especially if you've never done it before. Another thing I find that most phones it's probably worthwhile doing while they're out is giving the charger port a bit of a clean itself. This one I think is a bit of a farmer's phone, so I'm expecting them to have a bit of dirt, dust, fluff. There we go, some more crap just fell out of it just then. Try and get it to focus. But yeah, definitely worthwhile to do it for your customer or yourself, just to give that charger port a bit clean. It's usually the first thing that most customers notice when you give their phone back to them, apart from the obvious repair itself. And it's just a little bonus for them. Now from here, I want to remove those rear-facing cameras. I'm just disconnecting the connectors for them. I'm just going to lift it up just a little bit. A bit of push from the camera itself. These ones are all faulty, so there's no real point being gentle with them. There we go, one rear-facing camera module removed. And this one here had noticeable exposure to the elements because the actual camera glass on the back cover was broken. And it's been broken for a prolonged time, which usually means that the camera itself starts to fail because of that, just being exposed to the various elements. So now what I'm doing is getting the replacement camera module. I do want to leave those little white tabs on for a bit longer than I have to. The less they're exposed to dirt and dust, the better. So it does make it a little bit more fiddly to reinstall it. Not a huge amount, but a little bit fiddly nonetheless. Now with the module reinstalled, it's time to reinstall the mainboard back into the phone. Typically it's easier working from the bottom half of the phone upwards because you've got to get the 3.5mm headphone jack flex cable over the board and the Type-C port into the correct spot as well. And then from there you should be right to reattach most of the various components. Put the two screws in down near the Type-C port, the one up on through the mainboard in the top right hand section. If you're not too sure where it needs to go up the top right hand section, or can't remember, be able to put the plastic backing back over the mainboard and you should be able to see what screws will go in through there, and then you can do the process of elimination to make sure that you're not putting it through into a screw hole that you shouldn't. So from here, the reassembly process is relatively straightforward. Especially once you've aligned this correctly and got it clicked in. It's time to remove these white covers. And then from there, finish up this phone. So I'm just going to let the video play out from here, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.